Imagine opening your medicine cabinet and finding a single brown bottle. No label from a pharmacy. No insurance claim. No copay receipt. Your family has not seen a doctor for a respiratory illness in 11 years, and the total cost of everything that replaced those visits is $3. That is not a claim from a wellness blogger. That is Tuesday in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, where Amish families have used the same antiviral system for over 2 centuries without modification. What you are about to learn is the exact remedy they use, the study that proved it works, and the reason your doctor has never once mentioned its name. Stay with me until the end, because I am going to show you a document published in 1820 that listed this remedy by name with full preparation instructions. Then I am going to tell you exactly when it was taken off the official shelf and who benefited when it disappeared. The first thing the Amish figured out was that the body does not need a synthetic molecule to fight a virus. It needs the right plant at the right concentration, delivered at the right time. In Lancaster County and Holmes County, Ohio, that plant is Sambucus nigra, elder, a shrub so common it grows in the fence rows of nearly every Amish farm in both counties without being planted. The Amish call the preparation simply elder syrup. They make it from dried berries, water, and raw honey. The total cost of materials is approximately $2 to $3. The preparation takes 40 minutes. In 1995, virologist Madeline Mumkwoglu at Hebrew University in Jerusalem published a clinical study in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine, documenting what the Amish had known for 200 years. Elderberry extract inhibited multiple strains of influenza virus in laboratory conditions. In a controlled trial conducted during an active influenza outbreak, patients receiving elderberry extract recovered on average 4 days faster than the placebo group. 4 days. In 2004, a follow-up randomized double-blind study published in the Journal of International Medical Research confirmed it. The elderberry group recovered in 3.1 days. The placebo group recovered in 7.1 days. The authors concluded it was efficient, safe, and cost-effective. 4 words, buried in a paragraph, never mentioned in a single prescription pad. Here is where the timeline becomes important. Mumkwoglu's formula was commercialized the same decade her studies were published. A company called Raze Bar Industries acquired the formulation and brought it to market under the brand name Sambucol. That bottle now retails at $15 to $25 in the pharmacy section. The remedy that Amish families make for $2 sits 3 feet away from the branded version that costs 12 times more and contains the same active compound. Then the FDA moved. Under existing regulations, no company can market elderberry as a treatment for influenza, even when the peer-reviewed studies say exactly that. The FDA issued formal warning letters to elderberry companies that made flu treatment claims. You can sell elder syrup. You cannot tell anyone what it does. A course of Tamiflu costs approximately $100 to $140 per treatment. The Cochrane Collaboration Review of Neuraminidase Inhibitors found that Tamiflu reduced influenza duration by approximately 17 to 21 hours. The 2004 elderberry study documented a 4-day advantage, $2 versus $140, 96 hours versus 21 hours. The math is not complicated. The only complicated part is understanding how the cheaper option became the one your doctor has never mentioned. Elderberry handles the virus. The Amish knew that was only half the system. The other half is what happens when the virus creates a secondary infection. For that, the Amish kitchen has a second compound that has been sitting in plain sight since 1944. In that year, 2 chemists at Sharp and Dome Research Laboratories in Philadelphia, Chester J. Cavallito and John Hayes Bailey, published a paper in the Journal of the American Chemical Society. They had isolated the primary antibacterial compound in garlic. They named it allicin. Their paper documented that allicin was active against Staphylococcus aureus, Streptococcus, and typhoid bacillus, 3 of the most clinically significant bacterial infections of the 20th century. a broad-spectrum antimicrobial derived from a plant that had been growing in human gardens for 5,000 years. Sharp and Dome did not pursue it. In 1943, 1 year before Cavalito's paper was published, penicillin had been successfully mass-produced for the first time. The pharmaceutical industry had its synthetic antibiotic, and it was patentable. Allicin is not. You cannot file a patent on a compound that occurs naturally in a plant anyone can grow for 50 cents a head. Cavalito's discovery was published, acknowledged, and then moved to the back of the shelf, while the industry built a $50 billion antibiotic market around compounds that could be owned. The Amish in Holmes County, Ohio, never stopped growing garlic, and they never stopped using it the way it actually works. Here is the detail most people miss. Raw garlic contains no allicin. It contains alliin and an enzyme called alliinase. Crushing or chopping the clove brings them into contact and triggers allicin production. If you crush the garlic and immediately cook it or swallow it whole, you destroy the allicin before it forms. The correct method, documented in the ethnobotanical literature and practiced in Amish households, is to crush, let it rest for 10 minutes, and then consume it raw. That 10-minute window is where the antibiotic is made. The average antibiotic prescription in the United States costs between $20 and $50, not counting the doctor's visit required to obtain it. A head of garlic at a farmer's market costs 50 cents. The compound inside it was documented in 1944, and then quietly set aside while the industry built a prescription system around alternatives that could be owned, marketed, and billed. I promised you a document at the beginning of this video. It was published in 1820. It is called the United States Pharmacopoeia, the official compendium of recognized medicines in this country. In its first edition, it listed Sambucus nigra by name, elder with preparation instructions, with dosage guidance, and with a documented therapeutic application for fever and respiratory illness. This was the official medical record of the United States of America. It listed your $3 remedy as a legitimate, recognized treatment. Then, between 1900 and 1950, the Pharmacopoeia was revised. Botanical entries were removed. Not because the plants stopped working, but because the system that decided what counted as medicine had changed who was funding it. The same elder that reduces your flu by 4 days. The same preparation your great-grandmother knew by name. It was not lost, it was removed. The document that proves it existed is still in the archive. Nobody sent it to your mailbox. So what does this mean for you right now? Start with elderberries. Dried elderberries are available at Coop's and online for approximately $8 per pound. 1 pound makes enough syrup for a family of 4 through an entire winter season. Simmer 1 cup of dried berries in 3 cups of water for 45 minutes. Strain, cool, and stir in 1 cup of raw honey. Store in a glass jar in the refrigerator. That is the preparation. That is what the 1820 Pharmacopoeia described. That is what the 2004 clinical trial tested. Add garlic, crush a clove, wait 10 minutes. Consume it raw at the first sign of illness. The allicin window is real, and it is documented. The bill was never mandatory. It was designed. Every year from 1950 to now, the remedy existed, and you were simply not told where to find it. You know now. If you're the kind of person who believes real medical knowledge has been quietly pushed aside to protect someone else's patent, you already know what comes next. Tell me in the comments how many respiratory illnesses your family had this past year. And subscribe, because the next system I'm going to show you was documented in 1912 in a Red Cross field manual. It heals infected wounds without a prescription, and the hospital system stopped teaching it in 1955.